Alright, so in this video we are going to revise grade 9 geometry and specifically the Pythagoras theorem. So the Pythagoras theorem always takes place in a 90-degree triangle, where obviously there is my 90-degree triangle. So the side that is across or opposite my 90-degree angle is known as my hypotenuse. Or in Afrikaans it is known as jou skynsy. Right, so this never changes. So when you get a triangle and there's a 90-degree angle in, the first thing you always need to go and find is your hypotenuse. So find your 90 degree, draw an arrow to the opposite side, and that is then where your hypotenuse is going to be. So if you look at the second triangle, go and find your 90-degree angle. So there is my 90-degree angle. Draw a line or arrow to the opposite side, and then the opposite of my 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse, my skynsy. Alright, so now that you've known this, you can go back to the formula. So remember, your hypotenuse or your Pythagoras theorem is always your hypotenuse squared, which we're going to call r. So it's going to be r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. And then there is the reason is always going to be Pyth, short for Pythagoras. Okay, so is altyd r kwadraat wat jou skynsy is, gelyk aan x kwadraat plus y kwadraat. So let's look at this triangle. So let's say I tell you that this angle or this side here is 3 centimeters and this one here is 4 centimeters. Now we obviously want to calculate the length of C. So I start by writing my formula, which is r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. So what do I want? I want my r. I want my hypotenuse. Ek soek my skynsy. So I'm going to stick to r squared is equal to x squared, which is 3, plus y squared, which is 4. Then you're just going to calculate that. So 3 to the power of 2 is 9, plus 4 to the power of 2 is 16. And if I add it together, I get 25. Now I need to get rid of my r squared. So remember, to get rid of a squared, I have to put both sides into a square root, which then gives me r is equal to positive or negative 5. But in this case, you cannot have a negative length, so it is going to be r is equal to 5 centimeters. Alright, now let's stitch it up. So let's say now they tell us that this side is 5 centimeters, this one is 4 centimeters, and we do not know what AB is. So I want to calculate our AB. So I'm going to start. What is my hypotenuse? What is my skynsy? That is 5 centimeters. So into r's place, I'm going to substitute the 5. X is 4, plus I do not know what this y is, this AB, so I'm just going to leave it as y squared. Or if you want and you know the name, you can call it AB squared. Calculate it, it's going to give me 25 equals to 16 plus AB squared. I need to calculate AB. So to calculate AB, I need to get AB alone. So the first thing I take over is my 16. And my 16 is positive here, so if I take it over, it becomes minus 16. So then I have 25 minus 16, which gives me 9. But I'm not done yet, because I still have a square. So to get rid of my square, I'm going to say the square root on both sides. So then AB is equal to 3 centimeters. So your Pythagoras theorem is quite easy. You just need to go and find your 90-degree angle. Then you go and find your hypotenuse. And then you write down your formula, which is r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. Remember, your r is always your hypotenuse. And then you just substitute and calculate. Let's look at it if it looks a bit weird, like this one. Alright, so let's say this is 6 centimeters, and this is 4 centimeters. I want to know what is the length of EF. So I already got my 90-degree angle. I already know that this is my hypotenuse. So now I write down my formula. So my formula is going to be r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. Remember your reason. So I don't know what r squared is. I don't know what my hypotenuse is. So I'm just going to leave it as r squared, or you can substitute it as EF squared. My x value is 6. My y value is 4. So this is going to give me 36 plus 16, which then gives me 52. And remember, to get rid of this square, I have to put both sides into a square root, which then gives me EF is equal to the square root of 52. Or if you put it into your calculator will simplify it for you, and then you will get your final answer. Same thing, let's say I switch it around now. Okay, so let's switch it around. So let's say I'm going to make this 9 centimeters, this 3 centimeters, and then I want to know what is the length of DE. So write down my formula, r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. Where is my hypotenuse? My hypotenuse is here where 9 is. So it means r is going to be 9. X is 3. I mean, I don't know what my y is. I want to calculate it. So I can either write y squared, or I can change it to dE squared. So 9 to the power of 2 is 81. 3 to the power of 2 is 9 plus dE squared. Now once again, I need to get dE alone. So what am I going to do with this 9? I'm going to take it over, and then it's going to become minus 9. So I have 81 minus 9, which gives me 72. And then last thing, I need to get rid of this squared. So to get rid of this squared, I have to put it in a square root. So then dE is equal to the square root of 72. Or you can put it in your calculator, get the simplified answer, and then just your unit. And this is basically the basics of Pythagoras. Find your 90-degree angle, find your hypotenuse, use your formula, substitute, calculate.